Good people, what's going on? Welcome to episode 79, the Dome Podcast. And today, conversation with, oh man, legendary hip hop journalist. You know what I'm saying? One of the most respected journalists because this is the thing in the music business. Everyone doesn't have integrity. This brother has integrity. I've followed this guy for years. Amazing career, amazing journey. And doing that journey led him to MTV, Double XL, Source, Genius, all these places, to interviews with Mariah Carey, Jay-Z, Kendrick on several occasions and things of that nature, man. The one and only Rob Markman, man. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Thank you for that. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful, man. So I'm glad to be here, man. I recognize what you've been doing for a while now, man. So I'm just glad we get to do this.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And it's coming off a tweet, but we'll get to that in a few minutes, man. But look, I want to go several places tonight, but we have to address this elephant in the room from last night. I know you had spoke on it on your page before, but listen to this, man. If you had told me a year ago that a diss song in hip hop would win Grammy Awards, I'd have laughed in your face, bro. I'm serious.
Yeah. I mean, we look, Back to Back was Grammy nominated, and it was a big deal just to be nominated during the Meek Mill battle. And we're gonna give Drake his credit. I still think Back to Back was a fantastic diss record.
It was.
Somebody reminded me today, even though we never like classified this as a diss record, but somebody was like, "Well, damn, Mama Said Knock You Out," and LL and Kool Moe Dee had they little issue. I wouldn't necessarily classify that as a diss record in hip hop, but it definitely had undertones, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it definitely
facts. Well, you know what? Yeah, it's crazy because Elliot Wilson at about 4 or 5 months ago, he had listed his top like 50 greatest diss songs, right? So with me, instead of me shaming someone's list, I'll make my own list, right? So I went back this morning and I looked at my 30 greatest diss songs, and I said, you know what? I don't know if there's any point in time in hip hop that any of these songs could have won any awards. Now, I know the timing, this era, the social media and all this stuff, but very rarely a diss song like a Back to Back or like this Not Like Us can rock in the club, the radio, the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like in your experience, man, have you seen any other diss songs you felt like could actually win an award?
Nah, wasn't ready for the Grammys. I mean, I think this was, maybe the closest we could have gotten was like an Ether Takeover or Back to Back. Just because Jay-Z and Nas was two titans, Drake was a titan. We almost got close with Back to Back. I think the way hip hop has grown, and then we see this battle between the two biggest names in the culture. It's not just us paying attention, and we got to realize that. To Kendrick's credit, what he did, and to Drake's credit too, like nobody tried to make a pop record in this. Like the thing about Not Like Us to me is, though it's won, though it's crossed over, though it's multi-platinum, though it spent weeks and weeks number ones on the chart, that never felt like the aim. He made a dope hip-hop record. It is hip-hop at its core, and then it just fascinated everybody else and it crossed over. But the everything about that record is hip-hop to its core. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I said the same thing. I don't think it was an aim. I thought in the midst of a battle, he was big because he's an artist. He was being creative because every diss song he did was totally different. He hit Drake from a different angle every time. So when Meet the Grams happened, I didn't know what to expect next. And then all of a sudden we got this West Coast bop, but it just took a life of its own. That same night, man, DJ started recording live, playing it in the clubs, people in the streets, doing their dances or whatever on the West Side, and it went crazy. Nobody could have anticipated something like this.
Yeah, no, absolutely not, man. And and that's another misconception that I think a lot of people think it is a bop, so to speak. And there's nothing wrong like that. MC means move the crowd. So, I liken this like the energy of this is way different. Hip hop wasn't as big back then, but the bridge is over. Like it's like it got Bridges Over energy, because Bridges Over as vicious as that record was, and that record was vicious. As vicious as that record was, it played in every party. It made the crowd move, and this feels a lot like that to me. Not sonically, but just energy wise. You know what I'm saying? I remember what that was when I was a kid. So he stayed true to what hip hop is, representing for the West Coast, gave us dope lyrics, dope perspective,
Yes.
one liners, the hook stuck, the beat crazy. Man, it just checked all the boxes.
Well, I got a lot of pushback because I made a comment last summer, and it seemed to be true now. Last summer, I said, when it started taking off, I said, not the best, but the biggest diss song in hip hop history is Not Like Us. And the reason why I said it is because the new technology, once you upload that track, the whole world gets it in 2 or 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the response to it, you got kids in other countries singing. You got people from all different age brackets singing, and then you win these awards last night, and a crowd, an eclectic crowd. This ain't the 1995 Source Awards, Rob. This ain't the BET Awards. This is the Grammys, and you got all of these people singing the song, and even parts of the song I didn't think they would sing. It rang off, and I'm like, it came to pass what I was talking about. There's nothing bigger than this in the grand scheme of things to me. Am I wrong, or what you think?
Yeah, nah, man. Taylor Swift was going crazy last night.
Come on, man. Taylor Swift.
But it's a testament. It's a big record. Might go down as the best too of all time. Like I'm ready to have that conversation. Definitely the biggest. Might go down as the best.
And then let me ask you this: when you say the best, though, are you talking about the way it was put together and constructed, and then the ramifications that after that? You know what I mean? As far as like, the goal was to defeat him, or the goal in battle was to defeat your opponent. Is it the best because of that? Not the technical aspects, because there's other technical rappers that had these intricate, detailed lyrics and all the rapidy rap shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think all things considered, because it also did what the aim was to do. Like, you could have technical rap, like, for example, and I got a lot of shit for this. Eminem versus MGK.
Okay, I know where you're going.
M is Eon. Like, what M did on that record, just the rhyme and the pockets, the whatever. Like, Eon's beyond MGK, and MGK could rap. MGK could actually rap, but Eon's beyond. But what MGK delivered was the better record.
It was.
Like technical rhyme skills is not the only thing that I think we judge on, man. Like, if we're being real, and I love it. I'm a lyricist. I love lyricism at its core, but you got to check all the boxes to be effective. Like, you can't just rap. Like, you have to, and it's always been about, look, it's an extension of the dozens. You also got to say the slickest shit, the most catchy shit, the shit that's gonna make a crowd wanna, you know what I'm saying?
Because you remember
shit that we remember.
Yeah, because I was thinking about, I was listening to this joints earlier. So you think about, like, for example, Cannabis and Second Round Knockout, his rhyming, right? But then when LL had the Gold album and that Where I Belong joint, the stuff he was saying and Where I Belong, and then at the end, him talking at the end of the song, it's like, you can be effective without being like super lyrical, like the Jizzle or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be effective. Now, to your point, Back to Back was effective. It wasn't some intricate levels and all these layers and stuff like that, but it was a dope song, hook, beat. You could dance to it. People, different demographics can enjoy it, and it made it very. And it put someone like Meek Mill, who was a known battle rapper in Philly, it kind of put him against the ropes, man. He took some L's.
Yeah, for sure. And look, and it's not to say Back to Back, like, he was still rapping on there. It's like seasoning. It's like when you making a dish. Like, if you put too much salt, your dish gonna be salty. I need the right amount of salt, the right amount of paprika. You know what I'm saying? Like it's whatever. You got to season your shit the right way, and not often is the most lyrical thing the most effective. I mean, for those that love it, it is. But you're also playing to the crowd when you do battle rap. So again, it's finding that balance.
So look, right now, then, because when I initially did my list, it was last summer. I had Not Like Us, like 15. I had the biggest already, but had like 15. It's going up now. Where would you rank it right now? You ready for that conversation? Where would you have it in an all-time diss list right now, Rob.
What did you have number one? I'm just curious. I'm gonna answer your question, but what did you have number
So
one?
I had No Vaseline number one,
Mm.
and I had The Bridges Over number two. I believe Common's Bitching You was three. And then I went on down like second round knockout, etc. But my list, and I just reposted again on my page, but it was 30 songs, but I had No Vaseline on the way because me thinking about the takedown of NWA, you know what I'm saying? And the reason why I have it up there, not only is it an effective, amazing song, but it came after, man, NWA, when they dropped that song, Real Niggas, people go back and listen to that track right now. MC Ren on that pen was murderous. And if it would have been anybody else at that time who wasn't like Ice Cube, Real Niggas would have buried them. And you come back, first of all, you didn't even say no America's Most Wanted. You chill for a minute. You wait to the end of Death Certificate and then drop this napalm bomb, bro.
Right. I once interviewed Cube and I asked him that. Like Cube, man, I don't know if you can see behind me, but that's America's Most Wanted.
Oh, I see it. I see it.
That's autographed by Cube. That like I had that from when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
So I asked Cube this because his beef was with Easy, by extension Dre a bit, but he went at Ren. I remember I was like, dog, I thought Ren was your man. Like you went at Ren so hard. Cube said two things to me. It was two separate interviews I had. One time he said that, well, he knew Ren was the biggest threat.
That makes sense.
Because he knew Ren would pen. He was writing for Easy, so he knew Easy. Somebody had to be writing for Easy, and maybe it was Ren. I don't know who it was, but he knew Ren as a pure MC with a pen was the biggest threat, and he knew, Easy and Dre wasn't the writers. And then another thing he said is that's one of the biggest regrets of his career. He regretted because he had so much love and reverence, and still does for Ren, that he regrets going at Ren the way he did on that record. But that was vicious. No Vaseline is one of the all-time greats. But to answer your question, because I've been in your seat where I'm interviewing somebody. So if I ask a question, I want the question answered. I ain't ducking no question.
That's all good, bro.
Hey man, you could call it recency bias. I've been thinking about this for a long time, but I think Not Like Us is the greatest diss record of all time.
Oh boy.
I never seen nothing like. I remember No Vaseline when it dropped.
Yeah.
I grew up listening to the Bridges Over in South Bronx. I remember where I was in Brooklyn, because I'm a Brooklyn cat. I remember where I was when Hit 'Em Up dropped, and I first heard Hit 'Em Up. Like Bitching You. I remember listening to Stretching Bobbito, and you know what I'm saying? Like, we just ain't expect that from Common because that wasn't his energy, and he went
no doubt
crazy on that record. But I think all things considered, Not Like Us is the best diss record I ever heard, man.
Oh boy, they're
gonna kill me. I know they're gonna kill me in your comments. Look,
now
man,
you know what though? The song is massive. It's effective. And if you're talking about a juggernaut like Drake, because people gotta understand something, man. Drake is a monster. You know what I'm saying? Say what you want to say about it. You're talking about someone who's been either at the top or right there close to the top for about 15 years. You know what I'm saying? He don't stay on top or right there at the top that long, not being nice. You know what I'm saying? I always said that. Dude, when he want to really get in there, he can get it in. Man, I still listen to all them timestamp joints and all that. Drake
Tuscan Leather, the Over My Dead Body.
I like the Omerto, man, the Diplomatic Immunity, man.
Diplomatic Immunity is one of my favorites, dog. That shit
is nuts.
Yeah,
it's not. I even like Duppy Freestyle when he went at Pusher. You know what I'm saying? So, dude,
it was a mistake.
I rock with him.
It was a mistake.
But this song really, when you think of 5 Grammys, I mean, again, it's not even no debate about it being the biggest. The best, that's going to be a conversation. I think that people will appreciate this song 2 or 3 generations down the line, same way we talking about No Vaseline, the Bitching You, the Ripper Strikes Back, all this kind of stuff like that. The younger folks will talk about Not Like Us, like they talk about Hit 'Em Up. And they killed me today when I said Not Like Us was bigger than Hit 'Em Up. I'm like, it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'll be 50 years old this year. I was grown when Hit 'Em Up came out.
Right.
This is bigger globally.
Right. Oh yeah, it's definitely a bigger record. The other thing, and again, I keep going back to KRS, and the more I think about it, because again, it just checks all the boxes. It's vicious, it's disrespectful, is mean. The lyrics
Hey,
is
you
up
can sing
there.
along with it.
Right. But then when he gets to the third verse, it's some edutainment. Now he's breaking it down. Now he's telling, there's storytelling in the third verse. You know what I'm saying? There's a level of storytelling and there's a level of and I don't know that Kendrick did it purposely. I don't know how much KRS he listens to, but dug into the history
Absolutely.
of Atlanta and black people in Atlanta and colonizers and this and that and whatever. He twisted the story, used it to his advantage, and gave you a jewel and still dissed Drake at the same time. That was like some KRS-One level shit to me. So I respect this song on a bunch of different levels, man.
Well, I tell you what, this is going to be definitely something to discuss moving forward. But I do want to go backwards real quick. 2024 for me was the year of the West Coast, and I had Crooked Eye on in December. We talked about the West Coast. He broke down a lot of good West Coast history, which is really, really dope. But he also was very proud of the West Coast, and I am too, man. I'm from the South, I'm in North Carolina, but I give just due. You know what I'm saying? Last year, man, they rang off about 10 albums. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely was a year of the West Coast, and you know, Kendrick was king, man. But what's your like synopsis on 2024 before we get into this year?
I mean, I think it was the most exciting year in hip hop that we've had in a long time. You know, I just think we saw the greatest battle that we ever saw. It was exciting. It kept us very much engaged. You know, we didn't know what was going to happen next. It was like, you know, just, you know, Family Matters drops at 11 o'clock and 37 minutes later, Meet the Grams drops and you just didn't know. And collectively, like, it's going to be one of those things like, yo, do you remember that night? Like,
yes,
you know what I'm saying? It's going to be one of those type things. And I remember where I was when I first heard Takeover. And I remember where I was when Hot 97 played Ether for the first time and Angie Martinez went on the radio and took the vote because Super Ugly came out the next day.
Right.
And, you know, it's so this is going to be one of those, you remember when moments that we're going to be holding on to for a long time. So the battle itself was super dope and engaging. West Coast made the stand, but you know, we got Tyler the Creator, Chromacopia. I thought it was a fantastic album.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. I love to see you know, I thought Schoolboy Q Blue Lips was a really dope album. You know, what else? I enjoy Rhapsody's album so much. I love Common and Pete Rock and what they did on the
Oh my God, it was amazing. You know, and let me say something real quick, man. Common has mastered having a dope last final song on an album. You know, like he had It's Your World and stuff like that. So he did the same thing again with this album. I just love the way that Now and Then, I believe, the way that joint in. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was dope. But I'm gonna tell you also, what's that? Dog Pound, rather. That album, man, it was so refreshing hearing Lady of Rage again. And she murked that joint. I think Primo did that beat, and she had one of the best verses on the album. She still sounds fresh. It was dope to hear her, man. You know, Ice Cube had a couple of joints on his album that I liked a whole lot.
A lot of the veterans showed up last year. I mean, you know, even Eminem, I had fun listening to that album. Wasn't my favorite album, but it was like, oh, this shit, he really sound like how he used to sound. He
revisited the old Slim Shady.
Common and Pete Rock. Who else? Cube, you said. I mean, there were a lot of veterans that.
I think, of course, Snoop Missionary came out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You had, I think, Vince Staples, I think, came out.
Oh, Dark Times was a fantastic album. When you want to talk about dope storytelling, he has some.
And he's underrated storyteller too.
Yeah.
And then, of course, GNX came out.
You know, ended off the year right. You know, I even really enjoyed Might Delete Later. I think it gets marred with Cole bowing out the battle and taking 7-minute drill off the thing.
I like it a lot.
But that's such a dope fucking album. I'm looking forward to what Cole does next year, and then Doechii. You know, Doechii. I fuck with Alligator Bites Never Heal from week one. And that kind of reminded me of the old school thing in the 90s. Like, you know, Illmatic ain't sell his first week.
Just Ready to Die didn't sell his first week.
Ready to Die didn't either. Yeah. I remember buying Ready to Die because Ready to Die and Craig Mack Project Front the World came out maybe a week or so apart. Like they came out.
They had the Big Mac joint, the promotion of Puff was doing.
And there was a record store in Brooklyn on Fulton Ave at the Fulton Mall called Beat Street. And you know, we ain't had money for CDs like that. Like you had, but they were selling Big and Craig Mack CDs 2 for $20. So you're getting $10 each, 2 for $20. In 90, what's that? 94? That was a steal because CDs was at least $15. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I remember that, but Big didn't sell right out the gate like that. So I was a fan of Doechii actually working her record all year long, man.
She did, man. She put a lot of work in, man. She, you know, her performances were good, man. Very clear on the microphone, man. Really collected, man. Like she can really run.
Shout out to her DJ Miss Milan too, because I think what they were doing in the live shows, like that, I think it's just a real reminder. I think for years hip hop, like we kind of, when we do the live shows, we forget about the DJs. Like, you know, we came up in the era of G-Rap and Polo. Like your DJ was just as important. Like, you know, like Jam Master Jay was Run DMC. Like Spinderella was part of Salt and Pepper. Like your DJ was important. And I think the DJ gets lost. You know, as years go on, unfortunately. And man, I think what Doechii showed and what Miss Milan, her DJ showed is, I mean, when they put on the show, I mean, Miss Milan has so much energy, and to see her on the Grammys as well, rocking, like that was just dope. I think to see, you know, we haven't seen like a DJ that engaged in a long time in the televised hip hop performance like that. You know what I'm saying? Like on the Grammys or something like that. So reminding the world that the DJ is still very much core and pardon the pun, but instrumental to what we do in hip hop and the backbone of this. So I love what they're doing. So yeah, man.
Dope. Yeah, definitely a dope year, man. Now, as far as 2025, before we get into the top of the day, man, like anything you anticipate? I know for most people, man, like as far as like Nas my favorite MC, people that know that. Yeah. So obviously, coming after this Hit Boy run, I mean, first of all, that was remarkable. But now we're talking about this Primo album that's probably going to be this year, man. I mean, and at one point we was looking at Primo album like the Nas Primo like Detox. You know what I'm saying? You're like, this it's never going to drop. You'd ask me 5 years. It's never going to
You going to hold your breath for it?
So I think it's coming, man.
I think it's coming too, but I will believe it when I see it. I need to see it. I need
well, you know,
I need to see it.
I heard around December 7-8 songs was done. That's what I heard. So I'm hoping that they don't sit on it. I hope it don't end up sitting in some vault somewhere for the next 5 years and like, oh, we've been done with it, but you're trying to figure something out, or I don't know, man. But yeah, man, that's one thing I would be anticipating this year. But you know, to your point about that might delete later, I'm an NC, man. I'm still rock with J. Cole. I know he catch a lot of flack. And I tell people, if a dope album come, a lot is forgiven. And Cole has this talent to make a dope album this year, if it's this year. And I just really believe you win with great music, man. So I'm looking forward to J. Cole too.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't be surprised if Cole bowed out of a battle with Kendrick. When you heard 7 Minute Drill, you could tell his heart wasn't in it. Like he just wasn't, you know, and Kendrick is his man. I can understand that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't advise any other MC to, like, people start playing with Cole's name now. Like, shout out to Joey Badass. Joey's my man. I think I love the energy that Joey's coming with.
I love the energy.
But he threw a couple shots.
He did.
Cole.
He did.
And I'm like, listen, somebody might throw a shot at Cole at the wrong time, and Cole would pop up and say, hey, listen, man, I bowed out the Kendrick shit, but the rest of you motherfuckers.
You're right, exactly. That's what I told Kendrick. But look, y'all acting like Cole ain't one of them ones. He's still one of them ones now.
Right. Like I turned down the fade, you know, with my man, but like, don't think I'm fooled now. So it'll be interesting. But regardless, like, I mean, this is gonna be his last Dreamville Festival. I don't know if you ever been to the Dreamville Fest, but I'm
out of town almost every time he do it, man. I hate that I missed him, man. But I might try to catch his last one.
It's a fun time, man. I definitely gonna go out and catch this last one. It's always a fun time, and you know, I feel like if this is the last Dreamville Fest, I feel like
he's doing it back down here.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk on that then, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else for 2025, man, or anything any rumors you hearing about?
Joey Badass. I like the energy that Joey started the year off with.
Yeah.
So you know, I definitely want to see. You know, look, Joey. he talking that shit now. Now you got to back it up, and I think he gonna
Yeah,
back
because
it up.
that dude, your man from the West Coast, came out with that joint, that Heart 6 beat.
Yeah, Ray Vaughn.
Ray Vaughn
Yeah.
came kind of. I like the energy of that song too.
Yeah, and Daylight, Daylight got something.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting with that. Who else am I looking forward to? Yeah, man, on top of the head, I'm sure there's a lot, man. I did a whole video
Yep.
too, and I forgot what I listed. But Joey, I like Joey's energy, man. So
Yeah.
I want to see what he's coming. Oh, JID.
Okay.
JID. No, I got it now. I'm back. I think JID is poised to have a big breakout year.
Okay. I like him.
I've been listening to some joints. He's been working with Metro Boomin.
Okay.
I think JID will have a big year this year. I'm looking forward. I think he could cross over and go up another level to like a real star in rap.
Right.
I'm looking forward to see what Wale is coming with. Wale has always been one of my
I miss
favorites.
Wale music, man. I was one of the ones like, back in the day when he dropped that Back to the Future with Ninth Man, like I played that the Deaf Man, and I always thought Wale had something in him, man. He's kind of poetic in a way, so that's a very good writer. You know what I'm saying? So
Amazing
he
writer.
kind of went on some kind of hiatus, and I don't know why, but I'm always anticipating his music, man. I think he's dope.
Yeah, I want to see what Wale comes with this year. I think it's time. I think when it comes to that class, and we talk about the big three. Wale is from that era. He's from that class.
Yeah.
Not regarded, what I'm saying, in the big three in that way. We don't put him in that big three. But when I think it comes to rapping, I think he could rap just as good, if not better than those guys.
But I think so too. But I think there were certain points where Wale would kind of get on social media, and I think sometimes it will get the best of them and stuff like that. Same way it did Tyler Quali. That's not the whole story. But anyway, so I think that sometimes his focus would be a little off, man. But the talent was always there. When him getting with Ross and me getting with Ross, that platform grew for these guys, man. And
I always tell people, listen to, if you go back to when J. Cole dropped False Prophets.
Woo!
Verse 1 was about Kanye.
Yep.
His disappointment with Kanye. Verse 2 was about Wale.
I told people that. A lot of people didn't believe that.
Is about Wale. So J. Cole dropped False Prophets, and then right after, Wale came out with a joint called Groundhog's Day, where he's responding back to Cole. Now they're friends.
You're right.
This was truly a friendly fade. They're friends. There's no problem between them, but they aired they shit out on record. And that Wale Groundhog's Day record is incredible. I believe Jake One did the beat.
I think so.
The record is phenomenal. Like Wale is fucking rap.
Yeah, he can rap.
I'm looking forward to what Wale is gonna do this year.
And speaking of rap, man, when we start this episode, we talk about, I talk about your journey, man, as far as everybody know in the industry, as far as like your journalism and all the different platforms you work for and reviews and interviews and everything like that. But you're an MC as well. You know what I'm saying? And that's not talked about enough, man. I don't want to skip over that. You know what I'm saying? So, because I'm gonna tell you something, that Right to Dream, right? Years ago when you dropped that. So I listened the other day again. That song, is it the Dakota?
Oh, Dakota, yeah.
So that's the one, the black and white video. I thought that joint was very introspective, man. That's my kind of hip hop, man. So just real quick, man, what was like your thought process going into writing that album and writing that song?
Yeah, the Dakota song is special to me. It worked on a couple of different levels to me, but the hook is I see the world like Lennon through his lenses. So it's about on the surface is about John Lennon.
Yeah.
And he lived in a building called the Dakota right outside of Central Park in New York City.
Yep.
And that's where he died. He was shot, he was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
John Lennon was this man, imagine all the people like dude just preached peace.
He's an earthly guy, just very nice energy.
And died in the most violent way possible. So it's almost like, man, it was kind of like the forces between good and evil. You know what I'm saying? Kind of. And when it's your time, sometimes like you can't fight it off. Like when it's your time, it's your time. But on a personal level, the reason why I know the story of John Lennon and how he passed away is he passed away in 1980 on my grandmother's birthday on December 8th. So for my parents and my grandmother's generation, like that was a big deal. He was a Beatle.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
my grandmother used to tell me the story of how John Lennon passed away on her birthday, but then in her later years, she had Alzheimer's,
Mhm.
and so she wouldn't remember. She always remembered my name, but she would like forget my brother's name. It was really hurtful just to see her
Right.
memories.
I've been through it. I figure.
Yeah. But she would always remember that story, and she would always tell me that story. So when she got older and developed, I call her on her birthday or see her on birthday, wish her happy birthday, and she'd be like, "Oh, John Lennon died today," and would tell that story. So it was also an ode to my grandmother.
Okay.
And then the hook had just came to me. I wore glasses all my life, man. I was always confined to these glasses. So I was like, man, I just want to make a cool rap lyric about glasses. So it was like, oh, I see the world like Lennon through his lenses. So it worked on like a couple of different levels for me, but it was a really like personal
I
song.
could tell that. That's the reason why I made a note to bring that up because, for me, I like vulnerability in MCs also. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gotta be so many tears like Tupac, but just giving some life. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
can't just be all surface level, superficial. And that was the one that stood out, and I could tell it meant something to you. So I said, I'm gonna make sure I ask you about that, man. Man, speaking of MCing, also, you from Brooklyn, correct?
Facts. Yeah.
Growing up, what MC, man, did you kind of see and study? I don't want to say pattern yourself after anything like that, but influenced by you know what I'm saying, any albums, the MCs, were they from Brooklyn or from the New York area that kind of got you into wanting to rhyme and start writing?
Yeah. So and I always listen to hip hop from everywhere, even though I was from New York. I had growing up, Souls of Mischief, Scarface was one of my favorites.
Love all of them.
Alcoholic CDs I used to buy, Snoop, Pac before he signed to Death Row, like
Right.
as well as Big J, Nas, Wu-Tang, Tribe
Right.
Called Quest, all of that. The cat who made me want to rhyme, when I wrote my first rhyme, it was listening to CL Smooth and Pete Rock.
Which album?
You. It was the song. It was They Reminisce Over You.
The Reminisce of You, okay. Which I
Because
still say is potentially a top 5 greatest rap song of all time. You can argue number 1 and number 2.
yeah, absolutely. Because the thing about CL to me, and CL, and we know how great Pete Rock is. This is not Pete Rock is Hall of Fame. I think CL often gets overlooked. One, I
Great
think
MC.
is so tight. I think as an MC, like everything just fits in pocket. The wordplay is crazy. But what he did with that song was the storytelling. Again, it was so personal. He's telling us we shouldn't care about that song. That song shouldn't be as big as it is because he's telling us about a whole bunch of people that we don't know.
Don't even know.
If we talking about cars, Uncle Sterling got the latest.
Right.
Trying to run my business like my Aunt Joyce. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like with a Portuguese lover by the age of 16. Like it was so relatable. So he was so detailed in telling his family story.
He was telling all our story.
Right.
To a degree from our community.
As a kid, I recognized how powerful that is. And I said, I want to do that. So CL inspired me to write.
Wow.
But as I got older and more inspiration seeks in, I always say this. I always say Jay-Z is my favorite MC.
Right.
But when I'm writing, I often think, what would Nas do? So Nas is probably my biggest inspiration creatively. You know what I'm saying? I always said, man, if I could be in the Nas lane, I'll be really happy with myself. So that's always where I aspired to go, was more Nas than Jay.
Yeah, both of them are great lanes to be in, man.
For sure, absolutely. But I always saw more myself and not like Jay. Like Jay just like flashy, like Jay, and Jay gets introspective too. It's not to shortchange Jay, but Nas, I would hear Nas and I'm just like, damn, like he kind of see the world like I see it in a lot of ways or whatever. So when I creatively, like when I was like, hey, where do I want to be? What spot do I want to occupy as a Nas spot?
Hey, again, man, I followed that guy from Live at the Barbecue to now, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always anticipating. I'm one of the ones that, every unreleased track he has, I promise you, I have it somewhere in this house. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of the things. So look, man. So real quick, the topic, man. I saw your tweet about Mos Def, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said that Mos Def basically one of the most gifted MCs. So it made me go back and pull the tweet when I shared it with yours. And because several years ago, I was listening to Black on Both Sides. And when I got to the end of it, I was like, man, it's a free throw. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is too. That's why he do so much other stuff. He's writing, MCing is easy to most deaf. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say he's one. It seemed like it. I'm like, he got to be one of the most naturally gifted MCs of all time, which made me think of like when he did Black on Both Sides, he left nothing else on the table to me. It's like if I met a kid and I'm gonna name like 10 albums or something for, this is hip hop right here. Listen to this. Black on Both Sides will be one of them, because what I said before was I felt like his MCing on that album is as good as any MCing on an album I've ever heard.
Absolutely.
And he got the introspective joints, but then he got the mixed fat booty for the club. You know what I'm saying? So he gives you everything. So I want to talk about and throw some names and some albums out to you, man. And I knew maybe you reviewed some of them back in the day. And if you did, let me know that too. But I was going to throw some out and let me know what you think. Did this MC leave it all on the table? You feel what I'm saying?
Right. For sure.
So let's go ahead. So let's start with, I had Biggie's Life After Death.
It's my favorite hip hop album of all time.
Okay, why? Talk to me.
Yeah, there you go right there. It's my favorite of all time. To me, it's the most complete album. Look, double albums are tough. I think most fail. Like there's not too many double albums that I hear that I can't find faults with or pick apart. And man, Big, it was just a complete ride. His MCing was next level. I actually think it's a better album than Ready to Die, and they're both classics. But when I hear Life After Death, I hear the imperfections and go back to hear Ready to Die. I'm like, oh, I could see how he improved as an MC. The storytelling,
got more detail.
Yeah, what the hitmen were doing. Somebody got to die. Like Big. You hear the rain in the background. You hear the footsteps. You hear oh man, I just think I just hit his daughter. You hear the baby crying. Like,
oh my God.
Like the post production was so amazing. Big storytelling. Big to me is my favorite storyteller in hip hop. And we have some amazing ones, but because you could just say names and the line, Pop from the Barbershop, Gloria from Astoria, Arizona Ron, Dark Skin Jermaine, like Big got to cast the characters, which is crazy. So his storytelling was amazing. The vulnerability on that album, how it ends with you're nobody till somebody kills you,
was give you chills, man, when you listen to it.
What he did with Bone Thugs, how he inspired us with Sky's the Limit, and then it's just certain shit. Like if you just hip hop, like if you just from that era, like I could walk in the room and just go like today's agenda, and then somebody gonna pick up.
Suitcase up it. Yeah, no doubt. And you know what? I did a tweet recently. Well, it's an old one. I retweeted that Biggie did a seminar on MCing on Life After Death. Like that's the professor of MCing on that. And I said that he's potentially, once I heard that album, the most complete MC in hip hop history, because you can have Kicking the Door on there, like you said. Then Sky's the Limit. You can have Nasty Girl. Then Nobody Somebody Kill You. Then you can do the PSK joint rendition he did. Then you can do another. Then he can turn around and do Niggas Bleed. You know what I'm saying? And the vivid. I mean, what's funny you said about it being a little better than Ready to Die. I look at it like Ready to Die is Godfather 1, Life After Death is Godfather 2. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at Biggie, man. Like the storytelling, the details, the intricacies and things of that nature. He went up to he graduated on Life After Death. And so I always say, Rob, imagine the album after Life After Death, what it could have been.
What the scary thing is, as amazing as Big was, he was continually getting better. You could see the progression from Ready to Die to Life After. But the thing that blows my mind is the last song that he recorded was Victory.
Damn.
And I think that might
be verse stupid.
Right. Like that. Come on, man. Like that like it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's actually, you could argue it's not my favorite Biggie verse, but you could argue that was technically his best performance was on Victory. Like just tight.
Ain't it scary that he was getting better?
He was getting better, which is crazy. As much shit as he left us with, he was getting better. So yeah, man, it's spooky, man, how good he was. You know what I mean?
Did you ever do any retrospective review or report on that album at some point in your career?
Not yet. No.
So you were ranking a top 10 hip hop album of all time?
It's my personal favorite. It's number one to me. Should have been number one to me. Like, it's number one to me. Life After Death.
It's the greatest hip hop album of all time.
To me, yes.
Okay. Nope. Yeah, that's great.
That's my personal. Now, I won't argue anybody else's personal take. This is my personal thing. All good. But to me, I think it should be in everybody's top 10.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But
nothing wrong with that. All right.
I know where I was when I heard it and everything, man. It was crazy.
It was a moment in time, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't believe it when I heard it. You know what I'm saying? And when I got to the last track, it was very eerie. You know what I'm saying? I was like, wow, we lost this guy, man. And I was like, he is so much better on this one than Ready to Die. That's not a knock. The Ready to Die is an amazing classic. You know what I'm saying? When you think of how he was on Warning to how he was on My Downfall, it's like, good Lord, man. It's really nuts.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So I have Young Jeezy, Thug Motivation 101.
That's funny. I was late on Jeezy. Because from the mixtape era, I knew people. Obviously, people were on them from the Camp Man, the Snowman, from the, you know what I'm saying, the whole. And I didn't get the Jeezy thing at first. And then the album dropped.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm hearing the singles. I'm hearing Go Crazy. I'm like, okay. But then I heard DJ Enough. It was on Hot 97. DJ Enough played Talk to Him. It's the last song on the album.
Yep.
He samples the same record on that 50 sampled on America's Got a Thing for This Gangster Shit. They love me. That the Hustler's Ambition. But anyway, we talk about the Jeezy record, the last record on Jeezy, and the story that he told on that record when he was talking about his man reminded me of me and my man, me and my best friend. Like, I fell in love with that Jeezy record when I heard DJ Enough play it. So Talk to Him is one of my favorite Jeezy records of all time.
That's a dope song, man.
And when I heard that, I ran out and I copped the album and listened to the album, and I'm like, oh, this shit is a fucking classic.
Yeah.
Thug Motivation is a fucking classic. I was late on it. It took me the album cut to like give it a chance. Like, that song really connected with me in a special way. And then when I heard the album top to bottom, I'm like, oh, I get it now. This shit is crazy.
Bro, they went crazy downhill when that Thug Motivation came out. It was like Get Rich or Die Trying in the South, bro. When Jeezy took over downhill. But with me, when I first copped it, I never forget. I put that joint on, and that Standing Ovation came on. Yeah, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
these are more than words. This is more than rap. You know what I'm saying? I was like, come on, man. Standing Ovation. That shit. And every track on that bang.
Yeah. My shit, even the way he started it, like, again, because lyricism is my shit. But sometimes, like, you could say something really ill but really simple. But when he, when he was like, I used to hit the kitchen lights, cockroaches everywhere. Now I hit the kitchen lights, there's marble floors everywhere.
Well, yeah, no doubt. I was like, but that's dope wordplay though. Like, again, it ain't gotta be like cannabis.
But I could see it. I'm like, I could see it, and then you feel it. You like, God damn, like, how he get away with that? Like that's not supposed to work on paper, but when you hear it and he deliver it, you like, damn, I feel that shit.
Right. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, because one thing I was in a little debate with someone recently about, I said lyricism comes in so many different fashions and forms. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people think, okay, this one style right here, okay, this is how Jadakiss rap, that's lyricism. That is lyricism. But how E40 rap is lyricism as well. How Jeezy rap is lyricism. How Scarface is one of the best lyricists of all time. But he ain't gonna key with all these double entendres and all this stuff like that. But the way he construct songs and his rhymes, he's super lyrical.
Yeah.
But a lot of people I think you have to rap a certain kind of way to be considered lyrical. I'm like, man, there's 1,000 forms of being a lyricist.
Nah, Scarface say some of the most profound shit. Like, I didn't grow up in church. I didn't grow up in the church. Man, first of all, Mind Playing Tricks on Me is about mental health. It's about
Yeah,
paranoia. It's
it
about, you
is.
know what I'm saying? It's about all that. I don't know how that happened. That little thumbs up thing. The storytelling on that shit is amazing. Never Seen a Man Die. I remember like seeing that video on MTV. Like I had never been to church, and I'm like, oh, this how a preacher sound. Like this how
You know
church
what?
sound.
You know, it's funny you say that because years ago I wrote an article called Scarface, the Grim Reaper of hip hop. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And the reason why I wrote that with that title is because I was listening to Last of a Dying Breed, and the
Yeah.
last track on there called "In My Time."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that is basically him talking about his funeral. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And it was one of the most vivid, cold, chilling reality raps I've ever heard in my life, and it made me go write that joint. And I remember when I copied him, and he shared it years ago on his page or whatever. But it was, you know what I mean. Hopefully he read and enjoyed it. But it was, you know, me writing about him because he took you somewhere else. Because I work in behavioral health. I've been in behavioral health for 25 years. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a direct operations for an agency that does a lot of different services. You know what I'm saying? So I see it every day. I counseled back in the day. So Scarface is one of the ones that a deep thinker who you can tell has gone through his own issues, because you can't be that deep and not like a DMX, Joe Budden, all these guys, Eminem, they all fought demons and shared them with you.
Yeah, I got a chance to interview Scarface for Double XL years ago. And first of all, it's just certain lines. Like he'll just say some profound shit that I still repeat in my life. Like when he was like, man, if you ain't at peace with God, you better patch it up. Or one of my favorite Scarface lyrics, I wish that I could save everyone, but I'm a dreamer. Like it don't even be the illest shit, but it hits you. But when he dropped The Fix, so I didn't grow up in church, but I got baptized as an adult.
I got that album on here, so let's talk about The Fix.
Yeah,
I have it on. It's on the list.
Fix changed my life. Fix changed my life. I didn't grow up in church. I decided to get baptized as an adult. So I found not I always had spirituality. I always believed in God. I just didn't grow it. And The Fix, and I don't believe this is the way Face intended it to be. So I don't want to speak on his intention, but that's a gospel album to me. Like it's just like I hear that album and I hear God speaking through in that album. Songs like Someday.
Someday's amazing song.
You know what I'm saying? What should I do? You know,
even the song
Heaven, you know, Heaven in the Form of a Girl. You know, even and Nas's thing, like In Between Us, and Nas about his first fight, and like that shit just related to my life so much. So when I was an adult and I was going through the process of getting baptized, that song was a soundtrack to it. That wasn't the reason why I turned to church. There were other personal reasons in my life, but that soundtrack that time in my life. And it just that album is just so special to me. Classic album to me, one of my favorite albums of all time. Something that I go back to, and every time I hear it, it's just as rich emotionally as the first time I heard it. So yeah,
and that's a perfect example of someone not leaving anything on the table, because you got My Block for the Streets. You got Guess Who's Back ringed out in the clubs. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the introspective songs like your Someday and what would I do, whatever. And then you got the West Coast joint on there with Dub C and them on there. You know what I'm saying? Then you got like you said, In Between Us with Nas and T-Boz, I believe, do the hook. Just even the intro tracks and stuff. I mean, it gave you everything it deserved, the 5 mics that it received, man. And I don't think that he could have added anything to The Fix.
Yeah, I man, shout out to Face, man. I can't sit here and say that we're friends or that we've kept in contact, but I interviewed him once, and man, he was so kind to me. We did an interview. He was playing golf. We were on the golf course. We did the interview. I flew out to Houston to go interview him. And
who was you working for at the time?
Double XL. So I was fresh in the game. And it wasn't even, it was so funny because it was one of those articles that Double XL used to do from time to time, that it wasn't me asking him the questions. I had the source. I sourced like a bunch of questions from other rappers. Like, so it was like, hey, if you ever wanted to ask Scarface a question, send the question to Double XL. And then we'll ask him. So I forget who, but I remember like Joel Ortiz asked the question. It was a bunch of different rappers asking the question. So I'm riding in the golf cart with Face, and I'm just reading off questions that other people have from him. I didn't even get to really ask him, and get into it because that wasn't the assignment.
Right.
But we're playing golf and we're done, and he was mad cool. And at the end, I had to be like, yo, bro, like the fix changed my life, dog. Like you one of them ones for real. And we had a little conversation about that. So I'm in Houston. So he was like, man, what you doing after this? I was like, I'm gonna go back to my hotel. I'm gonna catch a flight in the morning. I just came out here to interview you. He said, nah, man, come kick it with me.
That's
We're gonna
good.
go to my hood. Yo, like we went to Papa Do's, got something to eat to go. First time I ever had Papa Do's. Then took me to his grandmother's house.
That's some real shit.
On Halloween. I'm like, damn, like I like his family house, like his real family, and we just eating dinner there. And then after we went to a bar, we had a drink together. Like it wasn't no fancy like rapper shit. Like oh, I'm trying to show the journalist a good time, so maybe I can get a good review or a good whatever. It was just like, yo, you in my city. I felt like he fucked with me, or he fucked with my energy. Hey man, come kick it with me tonight. We're just gonna do some regular shit. And I never forgot how kind he was to me. Because he ain't had to do that shit, man. But I love Scarface, man.
Yeah, because you can appreciate that because you've been in the industry all these years, man. So you done seen the ups and downs, the fake shit, the real shit, the genuine people, the ones who good. And you turn the camera on there a certain way, you turn that shit off there a whole different person. You've seen all this stuff, bro. So you can appreciate Scarface.
Nah, man, it was amazing, and it was funny too because this was the days before my phone didn't have a camera on it, or the camera was bullshit. Like we ain't have Instagram. There's no pictures. There's no. It's just the story I got to tell you. But I hold on to those memories fondly, man. And I hope Face is doing all right, man. I know he's been going through his battles. He looks good. He sounds good. I think he's in a good place right now, man. And I just continue to pray for him, man. I think he's one of those ones, and I know the way he affected me. I know he affected a lot of people that way.
He definitely is, man. One of the overall greatest MCs of all time, one of the best discographies of all time. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Super so facts. That's just fact. I got this. It's dark and hell is hot, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk to me about that album, bro.
Rest in peace to X. Another classic for sure. If I'm being honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of that album. It didn't affect me the way that it affected others. Like if I'm being honest, and recognizing the genius in X, recognizing that is hands down a hip hop classic. It just didn't hit me. Obviously, like the joints that it had on it, like my favorite DMX record, and people make fun of me of it, but my favorite DMX record is How's It Going Down.
That's a dope song.
That's
just video.
Yeah, the girl shit. Like I could relate to it in a lot of ways. Like I had a similar story, and just the video, the way it was shot, it just remind me of summertime in New York when at a time in my life when you a teenager or whatever, and you girl crazy and everything.
Yeah,
summertime is like, all right, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna go get this haircut, I'm gonna get fresh. I'm from Brooklyn. But man, we're going to Harlem today. We're gonna go kick it on 125th Street. We're gonna it just reminded me of that. It felt like that. So that's forever my favorite DMX song. Classic, incredible album, such a spirit, and the spirituality. But I'll be lying. My friends will clown me. It wasn't like one of my favorites. It didn't affect me the way that it affected everybody else.
No,
but I can recognize
nothing wrong with that, man. You know what I'm saying? I rock with it real hard. I love the intro, man, because it just give me chills, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then the niggas don't start the way it start, way it end. I'm real big on the way I'm starting the way it end, man. So that was definitely one. Okay, man. Outkast Aquemini.
Incredible. Classic. Spiritual, outer worldly, like I love the flowers that Andre 3000 gets because he deserves them.
Go ahead, talk to me.
I never, ever, when Outkast was together dropping albums, and I've been copying Outkast albums since Southern Playalistic, they were 1A and 1A to me. It wasn't even 1A and 1B.
Absolutely.
Like we never in real time, and I swear to God, if I'm wrong, in my circle, we never even argued. We never even considered who was the better MC. It was never an argument. It was like, yo, that's Cat. Yo, they killing it. You know what I'm saying? to me, that thing about who's better is a newer conversation once the separation started to happen. But one, I think Outkast is the greatest hip hop group of all time. It's my favorite hip hop group of all time.
Yeah. I've caught so much slack from me saying that. I said Outkast is the greatest hip hop group.
Yeah, I think Outkast is the greatest hip hop group of all time. And
let me say this, for all the people gonna watch this, Rob is New York guy.
Yeah,
he said that. Joe Budden said the same thing. Yeah. So it's not just me. But anyway, I digress.
I hate, and that's a whole other thing. I hate when they act like being from. I'm a hip hop head first. Yeah, I'm from New York, and yes, I love New York maybe more than I love other. It just speaks to me a different way. But I listen to rap for all over. I'm a hip hop fan. Outkast, the greatest group of all time, and Big is just as nice as Andre. I hate that we have these separate conversations about them. And I think if they were introduced to us as soloists, if it was just Andre, Benjamin, and Big Boy, and they were soloists, Big would be just as regarded. Like, but it is in a group, is this silly rule like we got to pick one. I think this shit is dumb.
Yeah, something happened at some point where this whole thing of like Andre, and I love Andre and Big Boy, it's like, I don't know where it started. With Andre is light years ahead of Big Boy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. People have seen me tweet about this for 5-10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like they on the same level. You know what I'm saying? And when Outkast was popping, especially me down south, to your point, I never was like, yeah, man, Big Boy, all right, but that nigga Andre's that one. I'm like, these cats are nasty.
That was never a conversation. Man, come on. In the polar bear's toenails. Oh, hell, there he go again talking that shit. Then corner like I was a curve. I struck a nerve. Like that going off.
And you know what, too? With Aquemini, of course, you got something like Liberation, one of the greatest songs I ever heard, stuff like that. But and you get the Return of the G when they getting busy. But man, that my track on there is Y'all Scared with Goody Mob. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Big Boy was talking that shit. And you know what I'm saying? And he's like, better believe I got that shake. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see me on the alley, better believe I got that shake. Because I was trying to tell this dude one time, I said, he was like, man, Outkast like some damn poetry night rappers. I said, you ain't listen to Outkast. Outkast spitting that down south Atlanta street shit.
Yeah. Like players from Players Ball. From the it's like, yo, it's Christmas and everything is closed. Like my man said, but my pager vibe, the pager killed my vibe because the junkie is a junkie 365.
Absolutely, like, junkie.
Talking that shit. Like, man, but they had the skewed on the Barbie when they came out with Raekwon. That shit.
Ray got busy on that too.
Yeah, the art of storytelling, like that birthed that. You know what I'm saying?
They murdered the art. The art of storytelling 2 is the one.
Yeah, I got to see them. There used to be a club in New York called Tramps.
Okay.
And when they toured the Aquemini, Tramps might have been like 400 people, maybe. Mm-hmm. And when they 500, maybe. When they toured the Aquemini, I wanted to go see them in Tramps, man, right in the front. And they toured with Goody because Goody had Still Standing. They had Aquemini, and so they came to New York, man. I got that ticket. It was one of my favorite shows that I ever seen in my life. Was Outkast at Tramps.
Yeah, them dudes incredible, man. Them dudes incredible. So now. LL Cool J, Mama Said Knock You Out.
I love that album, man. That album like defined my childhood. I was like 10 years old when it came out. I didn't have the money to buy my own music yet. So, that was the era of, somebody at school had it. And I'm, hey man, make me a copy, make me a dub on the tape. And it was so creative. I mean, Mama Said Knock You Out was the biggest song at the time. Around the Way Girl was on there, right?
Around the Way Girl's on up.
But then it was like album cuts, like Milky Cereal was like creative. I was just a kid, and I'm like, yo, son made a whole song about cereal. This is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
And it was his comeback album as well.
Right. Yeah, don't call it a comeback. But it was funny for me because I was still young, so I never felt like L. I get it now, like looking back, but I never felt like he had to come back. Like L was always larger than life. He had some like pop joints and shit like that. But as a kid,
it might have been Walking with a Panther. I think was where people was kind of like, they ain't really feeling that. But at the same time, it still had hits on it. He's still touring, so he essentially never fell off. But that was also during the time the hip hop purists start coming around, because you still had this golden era of Rakim, KRS, G-Rap, all of them were starting to ascend and all that stuff at some point too. So, BDP and all that. So it's kind of like, this L dude, man, he's getting soft. You know what I'm saying? This nigga, whatever. And then Mama said, knock you out. He come back in the gym. In the gym, he pumping the iron. He boxing in the. He's showing you I'm still hard as hell.
But like I said, I was young, so he never fell off to me. Like I remember, like my older brother, like not really liking Hammer when Can't Touch This drop. I remember my older brother put me on to. He like Turn This Mother Out. When Turn This Mother Out, he was like, man, this that shit. So I used to like whatever my older brother like. And then when Can't Touch This drop, he was like, man, fuck out of here.
He took that Rick James sample probably.
Right. But I was a kid. So I'm like, nah, this shit, gent. Like, are you kidding me? So I didn't really have a concept of selling out or falling off or going too commercial.
Yeah.
At 9, 10 years old. It was just like, man, it was jamming. So I get now why people said Mama Said Knock You Out was the comeback album. But when this album dropped, this shit changed everything. I mean, this shit had Booming System on it. Eat 'em Up, Eat 'em Up was hard. Yeah, like he had.
But you know what too?
Jiggling Baby, Jiggling Baby
on that too, yeah. But it's also impressive too. Okay, so he has another album. I think then he has like people did like 14 shots to the dome like that, right? But then he comes back with Mr. Smith in the middle of the 90s when Big, Nas, Not About Nature, all these guys are hot. And he comes out with Hey Lover, Lounging, all this stuff. I'm like, so, and that's another album, Rob, that he had the street joints on there, like the song Hip Hop, you know what I'm saying? But then he had the club joints, man, and he had that's another album I feel like MC gave you everything they could. Mr. Smith.
I'm gonna say this about Mr. Smith. I'm gonna say this. I didn't have a concept of what like falling off was, but Mama Said Knock You Out, I was absolutely into. 14 Shots to the Dome came out. I was confused.
How coming?
Now I'm a little bit older. I'm like, what's going on here? And I remember copping 14 Shots from the Dome from Columbia House.
Okay.
Like it was like 10 CDs for a penny. And then Mr. Smith was crazy, but we got to be fair. A lot of the shit that was popping on Mr. Smith was remixes and wasn't even on the album. Like the shit that I remember, like Lounging, like
the Lounging remix, the best. Yeah.
What was popping? But he had Hey Love on there. I Shot You. It was the remix. Yeah, I don't even think I Shot You was on the album. So that Mr. Smith era was classic. Defining. I wish the album would have had the joints that was. Maybe they dropped the deluxe later or something like that. But
I don't know.
When the album first came out, it didn't have like all the joints on it.
That might be true. Okay, I got you. I got one for you right here. I got 3 more to go, man. Lil Wayne, Carter 3.
That's a special album. I think Carter 2 is my favorite out the Carter series. I think Carter 2 is the best album. I think Carter 3 is one of those. Yo, you remember where you was at when this first dropped? I think Carter 3 is special. I still think Carter 3 is a classic. I think Carter 2 is better. I think Carter 3 is a classic.
That's what I said.
And the moment that it created was incredible, man. 1 million records in 1 week.
In 1 week,
After so much of his stuff leaked, I think it's a complete album. I think he gave you everything on there. He gave you the hits. He gave you the raps. He gave you the heartfelt joints. Yeah, man, Carter 3. And I see a lot of people talk down on that album, which I don't understand why. I think Carter 3 is one of them joints where it's something for everybody, man. Like,
it meant that was his, the real coming out party. You know what I'm saying? Because for the cats who are the hip hop heads, the Carter 2 gave you the bars of every song. You know what I'm saying? Like the production was a certain way, the bars all the way through. I mean, Carter 2 is my favorite Lil Wayne album. I think it's his best one, but the Carter 3 is his biggest album, and it's done like that on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like you got the Million, the Lollipop, you got the joints for the clubs, the streets, you got the joint with Fabulous and Jewels. I mean, please don't shoot me down or something like that.
It was like the political joint, like the more like we didn't know he could get in that bag when he did the Please Don't Shoot Me Down and all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So again, I felt like Lil Wayne, that was the one in terms of like define that point in his career.
Yeah.
And took him over the top to really be like his self-moniker, best rapper alive. That was his moment.
Yeah. No fact.
It's kind of like, 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying. You know what I'm saying? Like you have an album like, that, an album like Doggy Style. I wasn't gonna get into them too much, but those are just monstrous albums where There's nothing else that Snoop or 50 could have done.
Yeah, and I remember Plies dropped the same week as Carter 3, and I'm a big Plies fan. I'm a big advocate for Plies,
Never
man.
got into Plies. I got to go back and do the knowledge more. I mean, I know it's joints, but never
that
really
first,
rocked with them.
that first Plies album was special, and what it
Word.
did, he came out the same week as Carter 3. So I remember Atlantic Records priced his CD, I think it was like $7.99 or something. It was like a little lower.
Yep.
So that when you go in to buy the Carter 3, you'd be like, fuck it, let me pick this up too.
Right.
But I remember Plies doing crazy first week numbers. He didn't do Lil Wayne numbers, but like Wayne was good for the industry. A lot of folks benefited from just being in the vicinity of Wayne.
Let me say this about Wayne too, real quick, bro. I appreciate Lil Wayne because at the height of his crazy run with albums and mixtapes and everything, he was featured on like 10,000 songs because, man, he was so accessible. Man, I remember he even did a song with Lil Brother down here in NC. You know, he was like, yeah, it's cool. And he worked
on the
with
Get Back album. Yeah. So oh no, yeah. He did, he did shit with Lil Brother and shit. But the shit with Wayne, I mean, he was accessible, but also record companies would bank on, they would plan their marketing around when Wayne would turn in the feature, when they could get that feature. Like what I'm saying is not just the accessibility and the love. A lot of people ate off of Wayne.
That's
like
true.
Wayne was very generous with his shit, and that was the dope shit too. Is he didn't discriminate. He would do a joint with Lil Brother, like who was more underground or considered more hip hop. Like you wouldn't necessarily put them together, but you know, and then he would do a joint with Khaled at the same time, or do a joint like dude is as hip hop gets, man. So yeah, man, Wayne is special.
Definitely. Lil Kim hardcore album, bro.
Oh yeah, that's right there. There you go. Yeah, that's right there. First of all, the poster when Diamond in the Hood. That's a special album too, man. It's just an incredible debut. You know, like, you know, man, what can you say about Kim? I just think it redefined. You know, look, man, Salt and Pepper, I think deserves a lot of credit, and Kim always gives it up to Salt and Pepper for women being sexually free,
right?
When it came to their raps, but Kim took it to another fucking level, man. Like this album was so filthy; it lived by his name. You know, I used to listen to hardcore and
the beats bang too.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. But I used to listen, and it taught me. Like I'm 15, 16 at the time. So, you know, I'm girl crazy out here. So like listening to Kim, I'm like, oh, that's what girls like. Okay, that's what girls are into. Even down to the fashion that she would, you know, or the sexual things or the whatever. It's just like I never understood dudes who was like, yo, I don't listen to female hip hop. Like I never understood.
I still hear that sometimes with certain people, and it amazes me. I said, you know, you think about how dope so many female MCs. That's crazy.
Yeah, one, how dope she was, and then two, like, man, this album will put you on the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? If this is what all the girls that I like are listening to, then I want to listen to it too. I want to know what they like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just never got it. But yeah, the album is incredible. Drugs, you know, Crush on You. Oh man, Big Mama thing. You know what I'm saying? Like when Jay get on that bitch, like that shit was so cold to me. Like, man, how see them Big trust you in the studio with me? Don't they know I'm trying to sex you continuously? I'm like, yo, he just said that on their record. Queen Bitch, I think just one of the hardest records like ever. Like, hands down classic, but really, it's one of them game changers. It changed the game, man. And the one thing I wish with Kim is I wish her and Foxy would have really did that down.
Oh man, we missed out on a moment in time, man, where, you know what I'm saying, where they could have really had several dope joints together, man.
Yeah, they got one. They did the Total remix, the No One Else remix. And
yeah, that's true. A lot of people don't even know about that song though.
Yeah, I love that record. That's one of my favorite records. I mean,
that one is hard.
Too. I don't think they're in the same scenes, but they both in the video. But man, we missed out on something special. Because Foxy was one of my favorites too, man. Like I love
Foxy
Kim.
is an ill MC, man.
Yeah, I never felt like I had to choose between them. I don't get this shit that I could be a fan of one and not the other. And then Kim, when I actually got to meet her and interview her, man, Kim is like one of the sweetest people that
I
you'll ever
heard
meet,
that.
bro. I always have fun like being able to sit and talk to Kim, man, and I ask her questions. She don't shy away from the questions, and we just be talking hip hop shit. I did an interview with Genius for Kim, and we just talked hip hop shit the whole time. Like this shit was crazy, man. She's so dope.
That's impressive, man. Final
Yeah.
album is, man, I put down here the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And the reason why I put that down here, man, is because same with Life After Death, I was anticipating what was coming after that because it was perfect.
Yeah. I remember when I got that album, I didn't understand it at first either. Like I loved it, but it was awkward for me because I remember, I mean, for what she did on the score, because the Fugees dropped, the Fugees had Translator Crew was the first album. It won a lot of great stuff on that album.
Is that Blend on Reality?
Yeah, Blend on Reality, Translator
Yeah.
The remixes, the Salam Remy remixes, the Mona Lisa and all that stuff is kind of what saved it, and they tacked that on at the end. The score drop, right? The score drop changed the game. Flawless album, 10 out of 10. Incredible classic. So then it sets up Miseducation, and I remember me and my man went to the record store at the same time. We both got the CD. It's Lauren. We copping this on the first day. She dropped Lost Ones was the first record. Hard this record. Hard record.
She was rhyming on that.
Yeah, then she dropped Doo-Wop. It was like, oh, this a good pop record, but she's also still spitting. She's doing her thing. Okay, we getting this album. So we go and buy the album, and we go back to my crib, and me and my man are sitting in my room. We play the CD, and we listening to it because we always just play rap and just listen.
Yeah,
and man, the shit started slowing down. The shit started getting like real, like the vibe started getting real romantic, and I'm just like, man, I'm looking at my man. By the time we get to like D'Angelo and Lauren, like nothing really matters. It's like, man,
turn that shit off and play it back another time.
What the fuck? And so we was confused at because I thought it was gonna be a full rap album.
Yeah.
The next day I'm alone in my room and I'm like, all right, let me just play it and vibe out to it on my own. Absolute classic. A lot of people debate whether it's a rap album or R&B album.
Yeah.
I say it's a hip hop album. Is yes, it got R&B in it for sure. But like she's singing over Wu-Tang beats.
That's true too.
You know what I'm saying? Like so. To me, it's a hip hop album, and it's one of the greatest examples of a hip hop album. It's a classic. It's timeless. I think that album is special and powerful, and it's an album that people still try to copy the blueprint to this day.
Yeah, it's tough,
and you can't. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just special, and even for her, I kind of felt like it became this thing that maybe she had to chase, and couldn't.
It was lightning in a bottle, man. You know how that goes.
Yeah, but she's phenomenal. She's incredible, man. But that album's gonna live forever. That's a forever album. That's one of those ones.
All right, so look, before I let any guest go, they have to tell, especially MC, you got to tell me your 5 favorite rappers and your 5 favorite albums.
Wow. 5 favorite rappers are, and this might be subject to change, man. Because I got to figure out where Kendrick fit in this conversation, man. Up there, but my 5 in order or
no, just it gotta be order
because it flips. So on certain days it flipped, but Jay for sure, Nas for sure, Big for sure, Scarface for sure is in my 5. That's what I'm saying. It's subject to change. Like it might be Kendrick in that 5, dog. Like I think Kendrick crept up in that top 5 slot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, think about the albums real quick, and I think I'll try mine.
Okay.
So Nas my favorite MC. You know what I'm saying? So it's Nas, it's Mos Def, it's Rakim. Oddly enough, I got a funny one for you. It's Jean Grey. I love Jean Grey.
Shout out to Jean Grey.
I listen to Jean Grey all the time, bro.
Shout out to Jean Grey.
Another favorite. I've been debating back and forth if it's Pac or Kendrick, man. Because I still listen to Pac a lot. Of course, I listen to J Big and all of them too. They're probably my top 10 favorites. And OC as well as my sleeper. So, man, I'm conflicted, man. I'm conflicted.
Word life. Listen, man. Word life. Man, Jewels is a special one. Yeah.
Bro, I listen to Jewels all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
I love that shit, man. War Games, right? He had War Games with
Yeah, War Games on there, man. Chosen One, man. Far From Yours.
Yeah. Oh, Slick
My World, produced by Primo.
I'm getting it.
Then they got the joint. Of course, Big L on there, Freddie Fox on there.
Yeah.
Organized Confusion on there. I mean, Jewels is a monster album to me. I love it.
Yeah, Jewels is a dope album. And Word Life is a dope album. Word Life is
very dope. I think those were Wild Pitch records, and I think they folded, I believe.
Yeah.
During that time.
Yeah. And
your albums, your 5 favorite albums.
5 favorite albums. Life After Death for sure.
Yep.
Is this just hip hop albums or in general?
Yeah, hip hop.
All right, yeah. Life After Death for sure. Blueprint for sure. Illmatic, absolutely. Fuck. Damn, this is tough. Illmatic, what else did I say?
It's tough.
Yeah. Oh shit. Am I gonna go Reasonable Doubt?
Okay.
We got 2 J joints in there. And probably Get Rich.
I see you got three Brooklyn albums in there.
Yeah.
My favorite rap album is Midnight Marauders. Midnight Marauders.
Not mad at that.
Yeah, man. Black on Both Sides. The Chronic. Southern Playlist of Cadillac Music. And Illmatic. You know what I'm saying? But you got to give me one outside of hip hop, since I know you was thinking. Marvin Gaye, What's Going On is my favorite album of all time. And then second to that is Anita Baker Rapture album. What about you?
Purple Rain.
Oh.
Yeah, Purple Rain. And what else can I do outside of hip hop? Oh, Mary J. Blige, My Life.
Man, My Life was a moment in time too, bro. It's a flawless album, man.
Yeah. Mary J. Blige, My Life.
That's a great. Have you ever interviewed Mary J?
Nah, I never had to play. I wanted to. I pitched it so many times that same interview format I pitched to Mariah.
Yeah,
I pitched to Mary mad time.
Now the Mariah interview, I think you had said on a platform before, that was live in front of the audience?
That was live in front of an audience.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
That was amazing, and she was so incredible, man. She was just. She said to me, man, this is one of the best interviews I've ever done ever. Like. And I still see
that's big, because obviously someone on that level has been interviewed about who's who,
Yeah, man. I still get compliments about that interview. That was the first interview I did. It was live. I've done a lot of live interviews.
You did several with Kendrick, didn't you?
Yeah. I did a bunch of interviews with Kendrick.
Yeah.
But that interview, that Mariah interview, like my mom came to that one. Like,
that's dope.
My mom and my dad was in the crowd, and my wife was in the crowd. Like,
word?
Yeah, like my family cared about that one, which was
and look, that's a legendary moment for you, dog.
Yeah, it was an incredible moment. But yeah, and I've interviewed Kendrick a bunch of times.
Speaking of Kendrick, real quick in the interview, I think one of the ones I saw back in the day was before To Pimp a Butterfly came out. I think you interviewed him then, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I interviewed him for To Pimp a Butterfly. Yeah.
Now, I think that album was, I don't know if you saw me tweet this before, but I said that was It Takes a Nation a Million for this generation. Like that's a man, so deep, so many layers, man. How much a dollar costs, man? Complexion, man. Mama. What you think about that album, man? Real quick. Sorry, I gotta ask.
That album is a classic. I think the complexity and the layers to that album is crazy. I mean, he spoke to I always say this, and just to his spirituality, and I don't want people to take this the wrong way because people have conspiracy theories, but he spoke to the God and the devil. He spoke to God and the devil on that same album. How much a dollar costs is him speaking to an angel, God through an angel, like
one of
heaven
the
and
illest
earth.
songs I ever heard, bro.
Yeah, as a homeless man, and that was a real story for him. I asked him about it. He said it was a real story, and he really believes that he spoke to an angel on earth. And then the whole narrative of that album of Lucy, which is short for Lucifer, and him just being on tour and the Temptations and because that's when he starts changing. It's after Good Kid, Mad City. He gets to see the world, he gets to tour the world. Things open up for him, money, access, all of this, and that's the fork in the road where you gotta decide, what you want to be in life, like which way you want to go. And at the same time, he keeps getting pulled back home because of what his people are going through at home. That's why you get songs like Institutionalized. Like he realized like as much as the world that he ever seen, that there's people that he loved back home who would never get the access that will understand the world. And this is him going back home because people are dying back home and the survivor's guilt and all that shit that go around it. And then, perfectly kind of ties into GNX because you look at this far into his career and GNX is totally about his home. It's catered to his home. It's like I ain't leave y'all behind. Like, you know what I'm saying?
He definitely went back. He went back home. It's funny how GNX is a return to Good Kid, Mad City to a degree.
Yeah. But the funny thing is that he never left. Like
that's
he
true.
could have, like, and we wouldn't have faulted him because coming up, and it's an assumption, but when you come up in the type of neighborhoods we come up with, like I'm from Flatbush, Brooklyn, like
I'm from there too, brother.
We be there every day, like, man, I can't wait to get out of here, man. I ain't never coming back, man. Fuck this shit. Then you got
homies doing stuff. It's like, man, you could have made one bad decision and your whole life could have been totally different, bro.
Yeah, and so. It's something special to say, hey, man, I'm gonna stay here with my people and we're gonna work it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then, I still deal with that in life, man. I got, like I'm successful, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing good for myself. And last year I helped my man fight a case.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And bail out, lawyer money, this, that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so we still deal with the same things, even though we remove ourselves from it. We're not far removed from it. And he's always seemed to be very much connected to where he came from, man. So I respect that.
Yeah, man. Definitely a generational talent, like I always said, man. Well, look, brother, what you got going on right now, real quick, man? 2025, man. And I know when we had communicated the other last week, you gonna be in LA. You know what I'm saying? Doing some work out there, man. What you got any projects going on right now, man? What you got going on?
Yeah,
whatever you can share. I mean, I know stuff you're working on, but
it's all good. Yeah, a lot of people know this, I think, but I work at Genius. That's I'm an executive over at Genius, so still doing that work and trying to give artists a platform to really showcase their art and their talent in a place where they can come to and they don't have to gossip or do any of that stuff, and they can talk about the music that they love. So I do that. I got my YouTube channel popping, so please check me out.
Facts.
On YouTube. Rob Markman is the YouTube where I do my videos, where I just break things down the way that
dope joints too, by the way, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I just feel like yourself, like there's a lot of like-minded individuals like us. There's a lot of bullshit out there too, and I'm just like, hey, the people just need a choice. And you could choose what you want, but y'all see the bullshit. But if you want something real, then you go to Tony the Dome. You go to Rob Markman YouTube channel and you get some real shit. And then more music. I just dropped a new project December 30th, which was my birthday, so it's about a month old. So it's called "We'll Never Be This Young Again." So got that out. And I'm gonna be dropping more music this year, man. I got a couple joints with like Justice League, out of Florida.
No doubt.
Winning. I say, they beats sound like a violin. It sound like just live strings. Like
I love it, man.
Yeah, so me and Justice League got some shit popping. My man Devious Minds. So just gonna be more music this year, man.
Man, well, I'm definitely gonna be checking it out, bro. And of course I'll share it. I love dopeness, man. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, man, your integrity, man, and just what you've done in the culture, man. Like, people recognize that, bro. I mean, I know you know that, man, but I want to also give you flowers too, man. So I appreciate anyone who love the culture, man, and don't do anything for shock value, man. It's always about the purity, man, and being honest. You know what I'm saying? With your takes, man. So I appreciate that, bro.
Thank you, and you as well. I always say, man, and it means a lot to get that credit, but it's plenty of us. You know what I'm saying? We might not always get the light and the shine, but it's really about finding like-minded, like-hearted people who love this shit like we love this and is going to stand on integrity. And you one of those ones. So, it make it easier for me to stand on my square because I know I'm not alone. Like it's plenty of us. You know what I mean?
Indeed, my bro. That's what it is, man. With good people, episode 79 done, man. We out here, bro. Peace.
Peace.